Richarlison might be the most hated World Cup player in England. Despite being Brazil's best player, he was involved in every goal scored by the team in the 2022 World Cup. He's not looked very fondly upon in England. If you want to know more about the story, keep watching in today's video. We'll discuss how Richarlison was doomed right from the start of his journey, and until today, he is under constant scrutiny from the media. He came from a broken family and a broken home. Safe to say he didn't have the best childhood. This is the tip of the iceberg to hold the story of Richarlison. Stick around until the end of the video. Before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button and the notification bell to stay updated on our weekly videos. His mother had to raise him alone when Richarlison's parents split up. They struggled financially, and to help his way, he started to work on streets with his mother to help out. His first job were harvesting coffee beans on a farm and working in a car wash. He was as young as 11 years old during this unfortunate time, but didn't stop him from working as hard as he could to help his family. When he started working, most of his friends chose a different path and sold drugs instead. They would earn a lot of cash from working for big-time drug lords. They were young, of course, so they judged Richarlison for not choosing the easier path with them. Richarlison might have been as young as they were, but he was wise enough to know that life was hard, but it wasn't worth choosing a life that could lead him behind bars. He had big dreams, so he made the right choices and stayed on the right path. Although he wanted to escape all the chaos of the bad neighborhood he lived in, he couldn't because danger itself followed him. One unfortunate night, as Richarlison was walking home, he almost got shot. Keep watching because this is where things get serious. Richarlison and his friend walked home after playing soccer on their local pitch. While walking, they were stopped by two men. One of the men pulled out his gun and they found themselves held at gunpoint. The fear they experienced is something most of us can only imagine. They were warned never to sell drugs on the street again, mistaking Richarlison and his friend as selling drugs on their territory. So, he begged the armed man that it was a mistake and explained how he never sold drugs, but what do you expect? The man did not believe him. Instead, he pointed his gun straight at Richarlison's head. I bet you're on toes for what's about to unfold next. It's almost like it came straight out of a movie. Back to the story, Richarlison feared that a bullet would fly out at any moment and that would be the last of him. But alas, it wasn't his time just yet, as the man decided to let the two kids go. Sure, he and his friend left unscathed physically, but that kind of experience stays ingrained in your brain. After that unfortunate incident, he knew enough was enough. If he didn't start chasing his dreams, then when will he? So he set out to do just that, traveling all over Brazil to try out for soccer clubs. Rejection after rejection got him second doubting himself that a professional soccer career wasn't for him. He was on the brink of giving up and thought that maybe he was wrong, he wasn't good enough. Good thing he didn't give up, or else Brazil wouldn't have Richarlison as their best player on the team. Richarlison, while losing every bit of hope he had left of making his dreams come true, continued to play at his local club until he turned 17. After a choice he made, his whole life soon after did a 360 and it has never been the same. If you know you're hooked, so I won't leave you hanging. One day, he went on a fishing trip with his father and his cousins. There were 3 ponds, and the owner told the father of Richarlison not to go the third one. But just like the forbidden fruit, his father and cousins decided to go to the third pond since they know no one else would dare to go fishing there. Hours had passed, and yet they had caught a total of 0 fish. It didn't matter to them though, because they bonded together. The sun was coming down and they decided it was time to move on. Right before they left, Richarlison took his fishing rod and cast it on the pond for the last time, and you guess it, he caught a fish. They were so happy, but their moment ended when the owner came running to them, cursing at Richarlison's father. That day left a mark on him as he saw the pain his father experienced when the owner was hurling insults at him. He never wanted to see any of his family in pain again. He made it a point to be a success, and the first thing he did to make that happen was book a bus ticket to Belo Horizonte, which he had saved up for months. When he got there, he tried out for America Mineiro but didn't have enough money to buy a return ticket, so he knew there was no turning back. The pressure was on, and he used this as more motivation to impress at the trial. He played 4 matches, stunning everyone with his talent and skills. Later that day, he was asked to visit the club's director office. He took one step into that office and his life was turned completely upside down. He got the pro contract he had always dreamed of. He led the America Minero team to their first championship title. Soon after, he joined the senior squad with his first game against Rivaldo. Rivaldo's legendary player, and only after playing 10 minutes on the pitch did Richarlison not waste any time as he scored his first goal. From the beginning, everyone saw the potential of Richarlison to become one of the greatest players of all time. He surely didn't disappoint as he stayed consistent, scoring goals that led America Minero to become the first league. Soon enough, the big teams sniffed him out and were intrigued by the rising star. Starting with Fluminense, although the fans had their doubts when he injured his toe during the training, which resulted in him having to get the surgery done, and this was before he could even play a single game for the team. He put the fans at ease and proved them all wrong when he scored 7 goals and 6 assists in his first season despite his little playing time because of his injury. He was talk of the town and more teams were interested. Dutch giant Ajax come next, but Richarlison chose Watford instead because it's always his dream to play in the English Premier League. They offered him less, but didn't stop him from immediately signing the contract. His move to England was far from easy. From the drastic change in the weather that he's used to, the language barrier and the food. Though the transfer was complex for him, he weathered it like the professional he is. It didn't take too long until he bagged 5 goals and 3 assists, which was the Premier League's best start thus far. This is where things starts going south as Everton comes knocking around wanting Watford's manager Marco Silva. They declined every offer, which didn't bode well for Marco because he wanted to move to Everton. Given his frustrations, the rest of the reason for Watford took a turn for the worse, which infuriated Richarlison. Marco eventually moved to Everton, and you'd think that's where it ends, but no. Richarlison was infuriated, starting tweeting angry sentiments, and missed every shot he made for 6 months straight. Since Marco was now in Everton, he offered Richarlison to transfer to their team too. He accepted the offer and was called up to join the Brazilian national team. He got to play with Neymar, who was his idol since he was a young boy. Not only he did take inspiration from Neymar's plays, but Richarlison even tried to copy his haircuts back then. He set fire right from the get-go on the Brazilian national team, scoring 2 goals in his second game. It didn't take too long until he was known to be the new golden boy. He went back to Everton, then got called to join the Brazilian team again for the 2019 Copa America. He showed the world his talent when he took the penalty Brazil won at the dying minutes of the game. Richarlison took the pressure like the professional he is and scored the goal and won the Copa America with the team. Lots of up and downs for Richarlison after that, but Richarlison sure doesn't fail to surprise us with his perseverance and determination. That's it for today. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up below, subscribe and hit that notification bell. We post videos every week, so stay notified. This is Luxury Life, the right channel that will feed your luxury appetite. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the following video.